I'm thinking about purchasing, an electric vehicle or maybe adding solar to my home, should I be waiting for potentially a pending larger tax credit with this infrastructure bill? And then I'm going to add a second follow-up to this question is, what sort of presence will clean energy, clean sustainable energy have in this bill?
So
twofold. Tesla, if you're listening, please stop listening.
yeah, no, I got that. Listen, I just bought a Tesla, and I bought it as a science experiment. I mean, I'm just fascinated by learning, right? I mean, I get to be the smart guy talking about all this stuff, and so buy an electric vehicle and figure out what the data looks like, figure out what a charging station looks like. Watch what happens when you pull into a charging station and you're doing pretty good, and then 7 other cars pull in and you're not doing so good anymore. You're gonna be there for the rest of your life rather than 30 minutes. I mean, all sorts of interesting things happen. So for me, I thought about that a little bit for about a nanosecond, and I said, just buy a vehicle, learn, because that's really what's going to happen here. So anyway, you're an early adopter. Congratulations. Look, the renewable energy piece is actually fascinating from my point of view, because, and I was talking to a guy in the White House 2 weeks ago, and I said, look, you guys are talking like it's 2016 or 2010 or 2012, 2008 in terms of renewable energy is almost being a tax on the system. It's no longer a tax on the system. It's where all the innovation comes from. It's almost competitive with everything else. If we have a carbon tax, it's going to blow everything else out of the water. So the real question with renewable energy is, how do you base load it, probably through hydrogen? How do you base load it so it becomes reliable energy? And then how do you facilitate high voltage transmission lines so that it can get around the country easily, right? A friend of mine, Michael Skelly, went out of business trying to build windmills in Oklahoma, Texas, and then provide wind energy to the Midwest and to the east of the country, because no one would allow him to build a transmission line. So we've got the private sector, which would love to toll electrons, can toll electrons. The figures are fascinating. I think we've built 3 DC high voltage transmission lines in this country since 1978, something like that. The Chinese did 12 last year, right? So you have to stop being an ostrich with your head in the ground. We have to stop that. Most of the people on this call are engineers, urban planners, people with a technical background. We know that we're not investing in the stuff that we should be investing in. And we also know that it's pretty straightforward to make those investments. So we've got to figure out how to get on with it for our children's sake and for our grandchildren's sake. That's the critical issue right now.